Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello and welcome back to the channel where I am unbelievably excited because just look around me. I'm here visiting RM Collection in the USA and we're about to go for a drive of epic proportions. I'm going to be at the wheel of this, the McLaren Senna GTR by Lanzante, the road legal Senna race car. We're going to be talking more about that in a moment because we're also going to be driving with the Ferrari F50, which as many of you will know is one of my favourite cars in the world, and this, the Gemballa Mirage GT. That is in fact the very same car that a little over a year ago I drove in Dubai. So this is going to need a bit of an introduction. We'll have a look around this amazing garage and then we're getting all three of these cars out on the road together and I'm having my first drive in the Senna GTR by Lanzante. First things first, let's have a walk around here at RM Collection's garage. We're going to come back to the Senna GTR and talk all about that, especially when we're out on the road. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm about to drive the Lanzante Road Legal Senna GTR. Anyway, moving on, we have a lovely lineup of Ferraris. The 458 Speciale Aperta in the magnificent Giallo Triplo Strato paintwork, the launch colour of the car with the blue carbon fibre, wonderful specification, only 499 of them, the last of the naturally aspirated V8 Ferraris. We go from the Speciale A to the Ferrari F12 TDF. This is stunning, one of 799, 780 horsepower, naturally aspirated V12, the Versione Speciale, which is always Ferrari's code name, let's say, for the special edition hardcore versions of the F12 Berlinetta. Then we have an SF90 Spider, the Spider in Assetto Fiorano configuration. So with the stiffer suspension system, with the more track-focused specification, and with the painted livery over the top of that as well. Then, after the SF90, the Ferrari F50, a truly spectacular car. This was my first poster car, a yellow one of these. Everything about it is just perfection. Naturally aspirated V12, gated manual gearbox, open roof. You can have the hard top, you can also have a soft top, but the shifter inside here is just everything you want a proper hypercar to be, or a supercar at the time. This is completely lightweight, stripped out, gated manual, carbon fibre everywhere. Look at the engine back here. It is a work of art. It is a masterpiece. This car also has a 2B exhaust system, so it's going to sound the part as well, but built completely for racing. Next up, this, the Gemballa Mirage GT. As I said, this is the very car that I drove in the desert in the UAE at the start of last year. This is one of the 25 Mirage GTs. Satin black paintwork, red accents and details all around it, screaming V10, based on the Porsche Carrera GT, converted by Gemballa, a truly magnificent thing that has become really quite infamous in recent times. Very, very special. Also here, this is quite an unusual car that I've just been learning about. It's from DP Motorsport, who made the bodies of the Crema 935 race cars. This is the DP3, which I think is the only US road legal car that they've ever made. So based on the 964, early 90s, with this ridiculous kit on it and full conversion that they've done, complete race car specification. So this is quite a cool place to be. But this is the car that we're checking out in detail, the Senna GTR by Lanzante. Now, McLaren introduced the Senna after the road car, they introduced the Senna GTR. A number of them have been converted, but basically the GTR was made to be the ultimate track toy on the McLaren platform. So the 4-litre twin-turbo V8 makes 825 horsepower with this massive wing at the rear and all of the crazy aero around the front. It's up to 1,000 kilos of downforce. This car obviously has the blue and orange livery, which is done to represent that of the McLaren Formula One team, including the interior, which we're going to have a proper look at in a moment as well. Stands out from a mile away. But basically, it's one of 75 that they were going to make. I don't think they ever actually made all of the 75, by the way, of the Senna GTRs, and this one's been fully road converted. So Lanzante do the full conversion in the UK. The car went from Woking, the McLaren factory, to Lanzante. They do things like adjusting, firstly, the computers, the electronics, the suspension, everything to do with the tyres. We're running on a road legal set of Trofeo Rs. They have to make sure that you have all of your mirrors, your blinkers, and everything that you need to be road legal, and it has a plate on the back. It is tagged, it is ready to be taken out, it's ready to rock and roll. So I guess we need to have a few probably epic startups with the V10 in the Mirage GT, the V12 in the F50, and the twin-turbo V8 in the Senna GTR, get them out onto the road and go and drive in this. Yep, that's actually happening. Pinch moment here with RM Collection, but we're doing it, so let's go. Before we go out, let me show you inside here. Like with the road car, doors open outwards, and have a look at this interior. Finished again with the blue and the orange, the blue Alcantara, all of the orange details that you can see all around it. The same seats that we know from the road car, but check out the steering wheel and the controls. Straight from the race car. All of the settings adjusted so that it is usable as a road car. Of course, this has done the whole conversion process. It's been brought over here to the US. It is something that I think is going to take a lot to get the head around. And I'm led to believe that it also sounds, still has soft close, I'm led to believe that it also sounds a bit extreme as well, a bit more extreme than the road car. And obviously I've done a lot of miles in my regular Senna. I've actually passengered in a Senna GTR very briefly on the road in Florida. I've never driven one though. So yeah, let's get the car started up, let's get them outside, and let's go for a drive. This is a little bit surreal, and when I say a little bit, I mean absolutely ridiculously surreal. Look in front of me here. We've got the Mirage GT, we've got the F50, and I'm driving in this, the Senna GTR, the Senna race car. Familiar from my Senna, but yet a little bit more extreme. I mean, look at the steering wheel I'm holding in here. Look at this thing. You've got the digital display for the rear view mirror, given the completely fixed bulkhead view behind. I've got to be a little bit conscious for the road and terrain, given quite how low to the ground this thing is. At the moment we're in wet and wet. I've got these toggles on the steering wheel here for the ESC and for the powertrain. I think we'll probably keep the ESC wet for the moment, but turn the powertrain up into track, then it goes up into race beyond that. And this is where it's a lot louder than the road car. Still get those swooshes, those sounds, the blow off. No chance of hearing the cars ahead. It's like a Senna experience, but even more visceral. Oh wow, that bang dropping down to second, and the bang on the upshift as well. It's a bit like, I mean, it's a bit like driving a sequential in the way you've got these very loud clicks from those small shift paddles on the back of the wheel. You never need to take your hands off. This is unreal. This is absolutely unreal. Some twisty roads through the trees, hearing all of the noises, all of the sounds of every stone on the ground flicking up here through these windows, obviously like in the road car, where you see out to the tarmac. I'm just enjoying flicking up and down the gears and hearing the sounds of it at the moment and getting a feel for this. The button for automatic and manual is here on the steering wheel. You've got your launch control, neutral, a few other buttons and things around. And then in the centre, we've actually got air conditioning, thankfully, because it is very, very, very warm today. It's the best part of 100 degrees Fahrenheit. We have indicators. These are parts of the process from Lanzante to make it road legal. It has to have a lift system for the ground clearance. It has to have indicators. It has to have everything that you basically need, and then go out and drive it. Oh, that feeling, and we're low in the rev range, but that powerful explosion behind. This is dreamy. This is really, really, wow, look at this. Look at the view beside the lake here. My word. This is surreal. This is totally surreal. This is just everything dialed up to the max. We are enjoying this drive as much as I think you possibly could. This is totally surreal. And to compare this to the road Senna, if I can even try to begin to compare it, it is so much more sensitive to everything. It feels like it wants to move around a lot more. Obviously the noises that you hear inside are even louder because of even less sound insulation than the Senna, which already has so little to begin with. And then the sounds out of it, I mean, it's a wild machine, as you would expect, and to be driving somewhere like this, through the trees like this, wow, those downshift bangs. Oh my goodness, it is just ridiculous. It's I don't really know what else to say. I never expected to drive a race car like this on the road, an 825 horsepower race car. on the road. What on earth? What on earth? I mean, it's just wild. That was cool. That sounded like a fireball behind me. Obviously slightly restricted from view because I've got no rear view mirror, but that sounded nuts. I'll do it again. Wow. Wow. I mean, just wow. What a day, what a day. And look at this. Look at the 3 cars parked here. My head is like exploding, imploding. I don't know how to describe it. Look at this thing. Look at this diffuser. The exhaust tailpipes back there popping all of those noises and probably fireballs out behind us. The upper part of this wing actually pivots, same as on the road car, but the end plates stay in place. I mean, one of the things I've taken away from driving the GTR is actually how raw the road car was. If you drove this in isolation, if you hadn't driven a Senna road car and you drove this, you would not be able to comprehend how extreme it is. But when you then think back to what the road car is like, and I've done 3,500 miles in it, you realize that actually that is so close to race car in its extremes that for a road car, as it was homologated from factory, is just absurd. This obviously has the Lanzante conversion to make it possible, and there are so many things that go into that beyond what you realize initially. But my goodness, I mean, just small details around this, small things. Obviously you've got the race fuel filler, you've got the lift system for the suspension is actually the button just down here. For the doors, which are obviously on the battery, if you've got the power killed, as well as, or instead of using the button that you have in here, you have a manual release for them as well, just behind. Because race car, you know, if it's been killed, if power's been killed, you need to have that access. I just can't get my head around that. Like, it's totally wild, and you know, obviously part them up, it's going to be attracting a fair bit of attention, whatever you do with these cars. My word, that was a crazy start. We're going to have a quick break here, and then maybe we swap around. Who knows what happens next? It is time to mix it up a little bit. From the Senna GTR to the Ferrari F50. Let me basically fall in here. Whew, okay, this is a little bit different. Key in, wiggle the steering wheel, there we go. Turn that, press the start button. Epic. All right, so we've got our lap belt. I need to slide the seat forwards a touch. Oh, this is going to be wild. So this is a little bit mental. Woo! Sound of that Mirage GT. And I'm driving an F50 again. I'm back at the wheel of the Ferrari F50, roof off, in the sunshine. Yes, 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 yes. This car is amazing. Oh, instantly. What different driving experiences from Senna GTR to Ferrari F50. What a day. This is one for the ages. I mean, look at this. Look at the Senna GTR in front of us. Having had the luck to drive that before, and now being in here. I mean, this is mad. This is absolutely mad. I'm sweltering from the heat. It's unbelievably hot. There's so many cool things about this car, like the rear view mirror. Look at the shape of this. It's shaped because that is what you can see behind, looking through here. It's what you see through the back. Why make it larger than it needs to be? My word. Sound of that. All right, off we go. Perfection, absolute perfection. This is a small slice of heaven. I'm just letting the road in front of me open up a touch just to enjoy this a little bit more. Open it up. Wow, this is flaming. That lift-off feeling. There are flame balls out the back of that. Oh wow. This is the dream. this is one of the greatest days ever. And just blipping through the shifts in this, I am loving it. This is perfection. There's nothing better. The Ferrari F50 is categorically my favorite ever. And do you know what? Today is a dream. I cannot say thank you enough to RM Collection for this, because, I mean, like, look at this. Just look at this. With these cars, I'm out of words. I'm out of words to describe how amazing this is. It's time to do another swap. We are doing this Carrera GT, or rather Mirage GT time. Okay, this is by far the most challenging of the cars to drive with its clutch. But let's firstly turn the key. Yes. Oh, we're in gear. Don't want to do an awkward lurch forwards. Get comfortable inside this. The third of today's Holy Trinity. I cannot believe how hot it is though. I cannot get my head over this. All right, so we have the fly off handbrake, we have first gear, and we have driving it super gently on just the clutch. To pull away in here, you don't touch the throttle. That's where it gets really difficult. But yeah, we'll have a bit of a turnaround operation with all of the cars. My word, this is insane. I can't quite believe what we're actually doing here. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Speechless. Totally speechless. To think we were just driving that, and now we're in here. So this is where wow! When you go from one of your favorite cars to another of your favorite cars. My word. You know what, this feels so clinical in comparison to the F50. They're both based around motorsport-derived engines, manual gearboxes, mid-engine, rear-driven configurations, but they're so different because of the years that came between them. The shifter on this is just instantly into place, whereas the F50 is much more a case of, I think, giving you fluidity. I love when you're following the F50, look into the engine bay at the back, look through the grills, especially with the sunlight on it. You see all of the components inside, you see the engine, everything back there, and it's popping and banging away. What a day, what a day. Those fireballs are epic. This is the challenge in a Carrera GT. We've got a red traffic light on a hill. Now, I'm probably going to stall it, but I'm going to try and do my best when this goes green and use a bit of the handbrake, because without the handbrake, I don't think I have a chance. So clutch up till the bite point, handbrake down, just clutch, just clutch, just clutch on the throttle, and away we go. That's how you do it. This gentleman has kindly allowed us through. Thank you. Thank you very much. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's time for the last little leg, and that means back in the Senna to wrap things up. First drive in the Senna GTR. Nice. All right, door closed. This has been a monumentally cool day, swapping between all the cars. Slide the seat forwards. Okay, right, let's... Gosh, it's a louder startup than the road car. This is definitely a louder startup. Oh, you get the Lanzante graphic. Sorry, it just disappeared, but you get the specific Lanzante graphic when you start it. Okay, AC. We definitely need some AC. Fan, that is on. Temperature, yes. It's going to take a while. And now we've got the fun turning circle to navigate around. This is just, I mean, sitting in here. Right, okay, into reverse. Down. Let's go, here we go. I can feel the AC now. That feels like the park brake didn't properly release. There we go, that's better. Back we go into the sunshine. This is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Okay, let's wait here for the others in front of us. at that. I've had a fantastic lunch. Quick pause before things will continue. All right, the Mirage GT is out. That means it's time for us to rock and roll. And hopefully the turning circle of this will get us around the corners here. Lift system up. This is so silly. That's full lock. Slightly concerning. Madness. All right, lift system back down. We made that work. The sound of these things. Wow. This is race car. Those are two epic road cars, and obviously in their day they were as race car as you could guess as you could get. This is literally race car. This is full race car. The steering wheel is just madness. This is, wow, those thunderous explosions behind you. This is just such a surreal experience. I've said that too many times. But this thing is so unbelievably raw. The sound of those in front of us. Those bangs. Just mad. You feel that all the way through you. Just all the way through. Totally bonkers. Totally unbelievably crazy. And just I want to make it pop and bang. Today has been fast forward, and as if by magic, the cars are all parked back up in the garage. But that was the first time I have ever experienced my two indisputable favorite cars, one after the other, back to back, which is a completely different experience to driving them in isolation, which is always going to be amazing. Cars like this are, well, they don't need any further explanation. But to have driven the F50 and the Carrera GT, which are only separated by a decade or so, but yet so very different, despite following very similar briefs, motorsport engine, naturally aspirated engines, in fact, manual gearboxes, Targa roof panels, limited edition, very special halo products, the Mirage GT or the Carrera GT is just the ultimate in precision. Everything about it is Porsche is perfect. The F50 is rawer and probably more forgiving as well. It's easier to drive for sure, but such a, I think, different soundtrack with only the difference of two extra cylinders in the F50 over the CGT. Yeah, mega comparison. I need a little bit more time to really process and take all of that in. But when it comes to raw and extreme experiences, and by the way, that's actually Rosso Scuderia. You can notice it's a slightly more orange paint color to the Rosso Corsa of the F50. And that is Mexico blue, as it happens. I was wondering earlier. Well, it's Mexico blue, which is quite nice. But yeah, Senna GTR, different level of extreme. And obviously comparing it to my experiences with my Senna gives me more of an understanding of what the regular Senna is about. But this, in terms of performance envelope, is just going to be way further. This car on slicks is going to be a different level of performance to even try and really comprehend. And to have driven it today out on the roads, a Lanzante road legal Senna GTR, alongside the other two, my mind is blown. This has been extraordinary. I definitely need time to take it all in. But what a day. So a huge thanks to RM Collection. Link down below. Do go give a follow. I think there'll be some really cool stuff in the works for the future as well. And for today, all I can say is thank you so much to the owner of these fabulous cars for the opportunity, which I am never going to forget. And thank you to you guys, as always, for watching. So that's it for now. My first drive in the fabulous McLaren Senna GTR by Lanzante, which just so happened to include the Gemballa Mirage GT that I'd driven before in Dubai and the F50, my favorite car in the world. That's going to take me some time to really fully get my head around. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for watching. As always guys, your support is hugely appreciated and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.